Did you know that there are actually three different types of back pain, and knowing which type you have determines how you treat it? Well, in this video, I'm going to reveal what these three types of pain are and what to do about them. Hi everybody, my name is Will Harlow and I'm the Over-50s and Sciatica Specialist Physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today we're going to be talking about the three different types of back pain, what causes them, and how to treat them. Now, before we dive into the content of the video, if you haven't already, please hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because then you'll be the first to hear about our new videos when they come out. So let's talk about pain itself first of all. Now, pain is a subjective experience, which means it's different for everyone. And pain is due to the way that your brain processes certain signals that come from the body. Now, pain can be different depending on what's causing the pain, depending on your emotional situation at the time. So if you're more stressed, it will make it worse. Pain depends on what structures are injured, and sometimes people can even have pain without any obvious injury. To make matters even more confusing, pain can be caused by a muscle spasm, which is where there's no injury as such, but the body is causing a muscle to contract really hard, and that can be painful. So it's like the body's causing its own pain. And as I said, we can also have instances where we just don't know why the pain's there, but someone is saying they're in a lot of pain. We're looking at scans, we're looking at physical examinations, and nothing obvious is showing up. So pain is still somewhat of a mystery to us in the medical profession. We don't have all the answers, but what we do have the answers for are three different types of pain that tend to affect people in their back and tend to lead to what people often refer to as sciatica, which just means nerve pain in the leg. So let's talk about the three different types of pain, and I'll try and explain more about them as we go. So the first type of pain we call somatic pain. And this is the most simple type of pain. This is a sort of pain you feel when you hit your arm on something and it hurts, or in the sense of the back when you're bending forward and you feel something twinge right in the back. That's a somatic pain. A somatic pain would also be if someone hits you in your back, or if you twist and you tweak something, or if you pick up something too heavy and your back feels like it goes. That is often what we call a somatic pain. So a somatic pain is like a simple pain which is located at the source of the injury or at the source of the problem. Somatic pain can either be a dull ache or it can be a sharp pain. Those are usually the two most common. And a somatic pain is basically the brain communicating with the injured part of the body. The brain is saying there's a problem here. So to protect the person who's suffering from the problem, it will give them pain, basically, so that they don't move as much. So it's basically a protection mechanism. Now, somatic pain does not always align with injury. So some people will have quite a lot of somatic pain from a very slight injury, and others will have what looks like a very serious injury, but hardly any somatic pain at all. And the reason this is happening is usually due to lots of different things. So sometimes it can be the attitude of the person, it can be their emotional situation, it can be their awareness of the injury. Have you ever, touched something and then looked down, seen blood, and then it started to hurt afterwards? That's that phenomenon happening. But somatic pain is basically the most simple sort of pain we treat here. It would be stiffness in a facet joint, which causes pain in the back. It would be a pulled muscle. It would be a muscle spasm. It would be the pain in the back that's caused by an injured disc. And it's the simplest type of pain to treat. We usually treat it with analgesia, with gentle movement, with some hands-on treatment to try and loosen up the area. And usually as the pain goes away, that indicates either the injury is healing, or it indicates that the movement is improving, or the nervous system is settling down. So somatic pain is the most simple type of pain. It's local, it's dull or it's sharp, and it tends to be linked to an injury more often than not. Now, the second type of back pain is what we call somatic referred pain. And this is a type of pain which people often mistake for sciatica, and it's actually not sciatica at all. I like to call it fake sciatica. And somatic referred pain is caused by the same things as somatic pain. So it's caused by an injury or a muscle spasm, but it radiates away from the site of the injury. So here's an example for you that you may or may not have experienced. Let's say you're walking around at home, you're in a rush, and you bang your knee really hard on a table. Okay, I know I've done that a few times. And not only do you have pain in your knee, where you've hit your leg, but then after a while, the pain starts to radiate down the shin, sometimes right down into the foot. Now, when you've banged your knee, you've not injured your shin and you've not injured your foot, but it's still possible to feel the pain there. And we call this somatic referred pain. Now, contrary to popular belief, if you bang your knee and then you get pain going down the leg, it's not because you've injured a nerve. Okay, the reason the somatic pain is referring down the leg is actually because the signals in the brain are getting confused. Now, the way the brain processes information is not perfect, okay? It has errors, it has flaws. You can almost think of it as errors in the operating code that we run off. And sometimes the brain can't work out where the signal is coming from. So pain is not just stuck on the one point where the injury is. It can also spread out. And that's because the brain is trying to work out where those signals of injury are coming from. Now, this is very common in back pain as well. And this is why a lot of people that I treat don't just have pain in their back, but they also have pain that radiates down into the buttock. Now, somatic referred pain tends to be dull and achy in nature. It doesn't tend to shoot, doesn't tend to burn, because that is more like the third type of pain that we're about to speak about in a moment. Somatic referred pain tends to be quite vague. It tends to not follow a particular nerve pathway. It tends to move around. Sometimes people who've pulled their backs will have pain on the left side one day and pain on the right on the other. That could be a somatic referred pain traveling across. Sometimes I'll see people who have a muscle spasm in their lower back and it feels like the pain is moving up the spine, and they can say, I'm really worried about this, it's spreading. And it's not the injury spreading, it's just the pain. So I can usually reassure them about that. And we treat somatic referred pain in the same way we treat somatic pain. So in loosening up the joints, trying to ease off any muscle spasm and reduce the stiffness around that area. Now, usually when a somatic referred pain is getting better, what tends to happen is the pain stops spreading out as much. It starts to become more concentrated and usually concentrates itself just over the point of the injury or the origin of the problem. So if that's happening, that tends to be a very good sign that your somatic referred pain is getting better. Now, somatic referred pains can be caused by any type of injury at all. You can have a sprained ligament, which refers pain somewhere else. You can have a pulled muscle or a pulled tendon. You can have an injury to your disc. You could have an injury to the facet joints. You could have arthritis in the spine. Any of these things can cause the pain to spread out. So it's not diagnostic, but it's important to understand that it does happen, and that's what you need to do to help it, to move it, to get it mobile, to get treatment on it, and to control that pain with painkillers if necessary. Now, the third type of pain that we treat is called neuropathic pain, and this is very, very different. This is pain that's linked to an injury or an irritation to a specific nerve. So neuropathic pain tends to follow the course of a nerve. It tends to be sharp and shooting or burning rather than dull. And it tends to just follow what we call one dermatome, which is the pattern on the skin which corresponds to the nerve that's injured. Now, neuropathic pain is a bit rarer, but it results in what we call classic sciatica, so a shooting pain either down the back or the front or the side of the leg. Now, neuropathic pain is treated slightly differently to somatic pain or somatic referred pain, in that it needs to settle down and it's to do more with the nervous system, so we treat it slightly differently. Obviously, it's different for every single person who comes in, but typically neuropathic pain is first of all treated with some rest. It's then, once it starts to settle, started to treat with a bit of gentle movement and some hands-on therapy. But we also need to pay very close attention to doing anything we can to calm down the nervous system. So relaxation is very, very important. Avoiding the things that aggravates it is a huge one. Whereas with somatic pain, you can push through the pain a little bit usually and not cause a problem. With neuropathic pain, that will make it worse. And there are different medications that are used to treat neuropathic pain that won't necessarily work on somatic pain. So it's a complex topic. Pain is always multifaceted. It's caused by lots of different things, not just a physical injury. Usually for neuropathic pain to be there has to be something pressing, touching, or irritating a nerve root. Otherwise, it's not there. It would be a different type of pain. So I hope that's made some sense. Obviously, that was just a brief whistle-stop tour on the 3 different types of pain. So just to recap, you've got somatic pain, which is localized. You've got somatic referred pain, which is more diffuse but tends to be achy in nature rather than sharp. And then you've got neuropathic pain, which is your classic nerve pain. So that's that shooting, sharp, burning pain that runs all the way down the course of a nerve. Now, I hope that's made sense. If you found it interesting, please do leave me a comment below. I have strategies for treating the different types of pain in my book, which you can find on Amazon using the link below. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, and it has loads of tips and strategies about dealing with painful problems. So feel free to check out a copy there. And that's all I had for you today. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time and look forward to speaking to you on the next video.